to do a galaxy background tutorial. As probably most of you who follow me saw, that I did the galaxy background in the Serene picture, which I'll show you in a moment. So I'll go through what you need at the very beginning before I start. So your main colours, which is your Neo Coloured 2 crayons, they're like a wax pastel, is in Night Blue. So if you wanted to buy the singles rather than the set, because I know the set are quite expensive and not everybody will be able to get them. I personally have just got some singles and a small set. So you need Night Blue, you need Aubergine. You can, to be quite honest, you can use any 3 shades as long as you've got black and then you've got a dark purple and a dark blue. And then you need black in the Neo Colour 2, so you only need those 3. And then to go over the top when they're dry, I've got a Prismacolor in Violet, and that is PC932. And then I have Violet Blue, which is PC933. And then I have black in PC935. These are the old stock for anybody that asks why they look different to the other ones. These are the original USA stock rather than Mexico. And then I use a white luminance in 001 and a Prismacolor colourless blender, and I use a mixture of the Uni Posca in 0.7, and that's in white, and the Uniball Signo white gel pen. And this is optional, but if you wanted to give it some shine, you can do a Wink of Stella in clear. And obviously the most important tool so that you can do your Neo colours is a water brush. I mean, I usually use a fine nibbed one because you have fine detail in coloured pictures. Obviously on here I've got my little guy that I'll stick on the top to show you what the effect looks like. But for the colour books, you're having to go round an image. So you're better off going in with a small brush as opposed to something bigger, because you can't get in the small detail. But you can always go against the illustrations with the pencils anyway and fill it in. So that's what it looked like when it was done. And they're just going to give a demonstration on how I did it. So we're going to start off with our Neo colours, and your main colour is going to be black. So it looks messy to start with and you think, oh my goodness, and that's how I thought when I first did it. So you're just picking out, the most I use is black, and then I add in the other one, the other ones, which is the Night Blue and the Aubergine. So you're mostly using black, and you're getting down quite a big base of it, and then you're going to go over it with Prismacolors. So you can just pick out how you want your colours to be. So you can pick out, like, that's mostly black, and you can put your blue in there. You can overlap them because they're going to overlap with the water anyway. And I'm putting quite a hard pressure. This is watercolour card, so you don't have to apply as much pressure as what I am doing on this. I have to work a bit harder because it's got a lot more tooth. So, as you all know, I'm doing the colour along on my channel, which is the majority of my videos in the future will be filmed. I'm just going to stick with doing the colour alongs, and the colour alongs will be the live streams, and everything else and showing you what I'm doing is going to be already filmed. So I'm just picking out, like, you can do this any way you want, but you pick out with mostly your black, and then with your Aubergine and your Night Sky or Night Blue, you can just choose where you want those to go. But you can do this in any pattern you want. I'm just choosing what I would like. So I'm just using those 3 shades. I should have put these out, so if I'm going to put that there so you know what I'm using. These are the 3 colours that I'm using at the moment. So they're all mixed together. That's why I wasn't going to do them separately. So these, at the moment I'm using the black, which is going to be my main based colour. And then I'm moving into my night blue. You can have as much fun making a mess of this as you want, because you're going to merge it all with water. And then I'm going over to my aubergine. I should put that over here really, shouldn't I? If I put those there, you can see which colours I'm using. So I'm just picking them out. There's a couple of ways you can use Neocolours. You can put the brush to the tip of them and put it down, but it doesn't give as much of a vivid colour. I prefer to lay them down on the paper for this background. So this is just the blue. You want to overlap them and let them meet. So my black. And then I think I'll put a tiny bit of blue down here around the edge. And a bit of purple. And then I'll do the rest black. I'm just laying it down. As I said, I'm having to do a harder pressure than what you would in your colouring books. I didn't have to do this much pressure when I did my Serene picture. It's just because it's watercolour paper, it's slightly thicker. I think this is 300 GSM. Okay, so you cover the entire area. And now you grab your water brush, this is the fun bit, and have a little bit of paper towel beside you. You want fairly wet but not saturated, so just bring some water down, and now you're going to start your water onto the page. And this is completely how I did it in my colouring book. I didn't do it any different. You want them to merge because you're going to blend them together with your blender and your white luminance. Give it more of a galaxy effect. So when it dries, it's quite patchy, and that's why you need your pencils. And your pencils just smooth it out. Because when I first did this, I was horrified. And I thought, I've just completely messed my picture up that took me forever. But then I realised I needed pencils. You can add as much blue, you can add pinks in, some people put pinks in theirs. I just personally preferred the purple. If you wanted to do a night sky, I would go for dark indigos and this kind of colour, like a night blue, and then do your speckles in a bit of black and leave the purple out. But if you're going for a galaxy, I'd add some purple in. mix all your colours together, because they would in the sky, they wouldn't be separated, they would all merge. Obviously this will be depending on paper, unless you don't mind the buckling of the paper, because some papers like the Create Space wouldn't allow so much water. But if you're doing it in something like Serene or the Kirby books, you can lay a bit more water down than you would on thinner. So just be aware of how much water you're going to use. Okay, so I'm quite happy with how those colours have laid down. Now you have to allow this to completely dry before you start putting your pencil on top. See, that side now is dry, so I can start working on that, but while I'm doing that I can wait for the rest. So I might have to pause this video and come back in the edit. You won't see that part. You'll just see it when it comes back. I'll have to dry this off and then we'll come back and edit. So allow that to completely dry. You can use a hairdryer or a heat gun if you've got one. And then we'll come back. Well, you'll see me straight away, but I'll come back in 5 or 10 minutes and I'll join this up with the second part. So I'll see you back in a moment. I'm back again, but this continues in the same video. So you wouldn't have seen that. I'm coming from the future. So this is completely dry now, as you can tell. And now is where you get your Prismacolors. So I'll start off with my black and I'm going to apply quite a heavy pressure for this, because this has got to blend and merge in together. And this would go, if you had an image here for instance, this is where you would go in with your fine tip. Make sure it's, you know, quite well sharpened. And you start off going into like your corners and any places that you need to go into the finer detail that you couldn't get in with your Neo colours, and you go pretty hard with your pressure. It's a lot harder for me to work on watercolour paper because it's got so much tooth, so I am applying a lot of pressure here, but then I was heavy-handed in the Serene picture, so it works out the same technique. So it's heavy pressure. Because you're going to blend it all together anyway. This wouldn't be as much hard work for you, as I said, because your paper won't be as toothy or as thick, so you wouldn't have as hard a time as I do doing this. So I'm just grabbing my colourless blender. I'm not going to change that because we're still using the Prismacolor black. I need to get it in shot. And just blend that out a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the violet blue into the areas that I did the blue, and I'm going to put it there, and then we'll blend it in with the colourless blender and then the luminance white to give it like a glowy aura effect, you know, like the galaxy. So you're going quite hard. This is all hard pressure. I'm not going lightly at all. And then into here. As I said, didn't do anything differently on my Serene one. It takes a lot of work to get it smooth. Because when the Neos dry, they dry streaky, so you've got to work quite hard to get those streaks out. This is where your heavy pressure comes in. And then you'll blend that one in with your colourless blender. Because Prismacolors are quite waxy, you will get some come off, so if you've got a brush, I haven't got a brush at hand, so I'll just do it with my hand, but do it with a brush if you've got one, like a paintbrush or something. See, it starts to, if I zoom in, it starts to blend. So I'll come out again, I'll blend in after. So we're using the violet blue, we'll follow it through. You're going to try and get out as many streaks as you can, which does require quite a lot of pressure and quite a lot of work on your pencils. And then I want that quite light, so I'm going to go over with black. And the same as this one, I'm not going as heavy on this bit. Okay, now I'm grabbing back my Prismacolor black. Let me just have a sip of tea. And now I'm going to have to sharpen it in a minute. I'm going to blend in go into your blues with the black, not the entire area but into the actual colour, so you get rid of the line and it joins. I wish I'd done it on a different paper now, this one's hard work. Okay, so I'm going to grab my colourless blender and just go over the entire area with this. This part is starting to merge now. We've still got to work on this part. Let me grab, this is the hard part, the hard work. I've got to find my paper. There it is. For anyone that asks, I use the M&R brass sharpener. I just find it works best. There's no breakages. Okay, now I'm with my black still. Backgrounds are quite time consuming, so if you're investing in a background on your picture with pencils, to get them smooth, because they're such a big open area, they do take a lot of work. Obviously easier options would be chalk pastels and paints, and I'm just trying to think what else now. If you just did a simple watercolour background or something. But if you're doing pencils, they require so much work. So it does take a bit of time, and it is quite time consuming, but you get the result. Before I move on to the other part, I'm going to grab my, oh no, that's the wrong one, Prismacolor Violet, which is this one. And I'm going to add in, because I've not used that yet on here. Because I can blend that out. I just add a hint of it personally, because otherwise it just looks quite purplish, but as I said, you can play around with the colours as much as you want. You can add pink, you can add a hint of yellow or cream. It's entirely up to you, but these are the 3 staple colours that I use. Yeah, and now I'm grabbing my black back in. I'm just going to blend into what I've just done, because I want that to merge together. The Neo part is the quickest part. The pencil part takes double the length of time. Your base, when you lay a base down for anything, it's a lot quicker. Because you imagine doing this without the base coat, it would take forever. So you're going hard, still hard, always going hard with your pressure. If I state my pressure's different, I'll say, but otherwise just assume this time on this background you are applying a lot of pencil onto your paper. Okay, sorry, my arm's going to go in shot for a moment because I have to get over here. So I'm going to just grab my colourless blender a moment and blend that out what I've just done. Right, we're getting there, we're almost there. Okay, so I'm going to grab back my violet. And I'm going to go in these parts where you can see that I've already put the base down of the Neo. And again, you're harsh with your pencil, you're going mad. And now, oh, my hand's aching. You get a very achy hand. It's a workout for your hands. I can tell you that. Okay, so I'm getting back my violet blue and going to this part. When I did this, I said to my partner the same night, my hand was killing me. And you're sort of doing this all the time. Right, and now, hopefully for the last time, you're getting your black again. Unless I have to tweak anything. And hard again, as I've done throughout. I don't think this would be good with any other pencil apart from a heavy wax. So Prismacolors are ideal for this. I couldn't imagine me being able to do this personally with like polychromos, as you know they're my favourite. Luminance I should imagine you can, but they'd take a lot more work. Prismacolors are just perfect for this because they're very waxy. I'm just going to go over that slightly. If the tripod's shaking, that's because of the amount of work that I'm putting into this. Okay, so I think we're there now. So you're going to grab your blender for one more time. I need to sharpen it. And merge together those colours that you've just put down. Oops. Right, now we're onto our luminance white. You can do this with a Prismacolor white. I just prefer the luminance personally. And just to give it a bit of a glow, you know, like if you were to have stars. I use the blender again after, but I just like to give it a little bit of white. And then you're going to blend that in. So it just gives it a bit of a glow. And I usually just do this around the coloured parts, so the blue and the purple. And then with your blender, just blend that into your black a little bit. You don't have to do this over the entire thing. I just pick out some bits where I want it a little bit brighter, like a bit more white injected into it. So just pick out a few areas. I only did that, I'll show you on the other one. I'll refer to my other one that I did already in a moment. I'll show you where I did it. It's just in sections and you're just blending it in each time with your colourless blender. It just gives it a bit more of a spacey glow. And in circular motions I find works best. Okay, now you want to grab a Posca or a Uniball Signo or any other white gel pen that you like. I do both personally, and you can randomly, I'm just going to try the Posca first. Get it going. You can just dot, and you can put bigger ones after, but you can just dot in random spots. You don't have to be neat with this. You do bigger bits, smaller. You can add stars in if you want, but personally I know I'd mess them up, so you're just adding in any random dots. And then I'll grab my other pen. I'm going to my Uniball. You just do. This is all I did. You can have a bit more of a, you know, you can do this however you want. I'm just doing it for the purpose of the video. If you're not happy with any of your dots, which I wasn't, you know, on my other one, just grab your black again. I'm just showing you. You can grab your black and go over where you did it, for instance. So you don't see like the big blobs if you mess up a little bit. To get my pen going again. So you can do this in any, you can do constellations, you can do bigger, smaller, you can do whatever you want. And that's more or less what I did. And then I've just, for the purpose of the video, to show you with a little illustration on, you know, you do have something, you don't just have a background on its own, you do have like an illustration on it. So I put my little astronaut on there. So that is just how I did it, and there was no other method. That is exactly how I did it. Obviously it's not perfect, this is just a simple version. There's many more versions out there and many other colour combinations. So this is how I did mine. I'll zoom out for you. So that was exactly the same as what I did. There's no difference. I just added a bit more of the white luminance to make it more of a glow because she was up in space and I wanted a bit of an aura around her. But there's no method to it. That's exactly how I showed you. Was exactly how I did it in my picture. So zooming out, I would probably do the speckles a bit differently, but I was just trying to be quick for the purpose of the video. So that is exactly what I did, and as you can see there's no kind of like lines. You've blended it all together and it's quite a hard work. I mean, my pencil started off sharp and I've sharpened them once and they're blunt now, so it does take a little bit. You can add, as I said, you can add speckles in however you want. You can do less of, you can do more of, you can splatter the paintbrush. Personally, the reason why I didn't splatter the paintbrush is because if you've got your coloured picture in the middle, you're going to end up getting paint all over that. So unless you mask somehow, then you have to hand draw them in. So I hope you enjoyed that. That is exactly how I created my galaxy background. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye! I'm so silly, I completely forgot to add, so I'm going to add this right at the end and edit it in. If you wanted to, you can put Wink of Stella, but to be quite honest, it gives it so much of a glow. I was going to put that in the video, but if you did like that effect and you really liked the glittery shine that Wink of Stella gives off, you can add that in as well. So it doesn't take away the colour and it doesn't take away all the speckles. It just gives it such a, like a shine, but that's still wet. I've not let that dry. So if you wanted to do that, you can always add that in as well. And that's the Wink of Stella in clear. It's a brush pen, so it's like a, this is for the purpose of the video anyway, so you know it's got like a brush at the end, and you can add, it's got like glitter on the end, and you can add that if you wanted to. That is totally optional. Personally, I would leave it out because I think that there's enough going on, but if you liked the glittery effect for a galaxy sky, always add that in if you wanted to. You don't have to do it over the entire picture, you can just do it in little sections. So that's like a quick edit that I'm going to put in at the very end. So now I'm definitely saying see you later, and I'll see you on my next video.